it's Ashaped and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. So I'm going to be showing you how to create that two-piece set, two-piece dress gown. I don't know the name. So this is, let's get to it. So I used about 4 yards of net and then I think 4 yards of Ankara as well, because I didn't use up all the Ankaras I got. So first of all, I went ahead to do a skirt pattern, and if you don't know how to do a skirt pattern, please check my previous tutorial, because here it's just a rush up a revision on a skirt pattern. So I took my waist measurement, my hip line, my knee length point. This is a long skirt, and then the length of the skirt. So first of all, I went ahead to connect my knee to my hip and then to my waist, and then I went further to extend the length to the required length I will be working with. So that's what I did here. Okay, and then after that is done, for the back, your back skirt, you want it to have this extra fitting at the back. So you just adjust it, but I was able to alter this one single pattern to work for the back and the front. Okay, so then when I was done with the skirt pattern, I went ahead to do my basic bodice pattern, and a video on this also is on my channel, a detailed video, so you can watch it and learn. So the main reason why this part wasn't rushed is because I did a bustier, a tube bustier cut. So I took my time to explain this. So after taking my shoulder, getting my chest line, I went ahead to mark my bust point line. Now if you're working with a small bust, you can simply just come down from your chest line by 1.5 inch. If you're working with a bigger bust, you can simply come down by 2 inches, or better still, measure your client's bust point length. After that, I went ahead to take my shoulder to my under post mark, which was 14.5 inches, and then my waistline mark. Okay, so I went ahead to draw a line across to mark all my lines together. Next up, I went ahead to bring down my shoulder measurement down to the chest point so that I can create an armpit curve. Okay, and then I now went down by 7 inches. I wanted my tube to drop as low as 7 inches. So now the preference is yours. You can come down by 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, or what have you. So then I went ahead to mark my nipple distance, and I created a line connecting each of these points together. And then I came in by the under bust from 1 inch, and at the waistline 1 inch. Now I just worked with 1 inch for both under bust and waistline, because I just wanted to work with, like, add the same replaced allowance back, if you understand. But you can come in from your waistline by 1/2 inch on both sides. It will still give you a good bustier. So now I came by the sides by 1 inch on both sides. So for your center front, you can also alter it and use 0.75 inch and then 1 inch on the other side. So whichever works for you. Okay, after doing that, I went ahead to connect my armpit line, my armpit curve, and then I went ahead to replace all the darts I took out. Okay, so I replaced the 2 inches. I measured my original bodice measurements, the bust, the waist, and everything, and then I replaced it with whatever I took out, creating this bustier. Then I went ahead to give it a sweetheart curved shape, and then I cut off my pattern, and then went ahead to also place my curve to give it that tube curve shape. Okay, so now this works for me very well. I mean, my tube sits very well when I use this curve ruler to just create like should I say a U curve all the way down. Like, this is what it looks like. And I went ahead to cut out my pattern. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like, share, leave a comment if you found this video helpful in one way or the other. It really mean a lot to me. Okay, so now after that is done, I just went ahead to cut my back pattern. Now it's very simple, but don't forget that I usually slash my back and tighten it so that the back will not gape. If you watch my other videos, you will understand what I mean. So that's my back pattern. Now to the main thing, the main cause of this video is our net. So now I used about, out of 4 yards of net, I was left with 33 inches. So please do the math. I think it's about 3 yards and 3 inches I used in total for my net gown, like the net part of this dress. Okay, so I think I used about 33 and 3 inches and 3 yards and 3 inches. Yes. Okay, so I had my yoke pattern cut out, so I just replaced it. Instead of drafting another pattern for the up, I just replaced it there to get my neck and my armpit points, and then I added 2 inches to the main bust line, and then took all the way down and formed an A line, a big A line shape. Okay, so you can actually do, if you really want it to drop, you can do a bias cut as well. It will work, but I was working with just 4 yards, and I mean it had to be enough, so that was what I did. So now I went ahead to cut my sleeves as well. But before doing that, I had to measure the length. The full length of this net was giving me 61.5. So I had to take out about 13 or 15 inches. So you can work with 13 inches, you can work with 15 inches. Depends on how much of your Ankara you want to replace in the part that you cut out from your net. Okay, so now my net wasn't really steady and there was no light, so I had to use the edge of my table to straighten it out a bit. Okay, then I went ahead to pin it down so I can cut it equally on both sides. So I cut out a total of 13 inches, and when I was done cutting out the 13 inches, I now folded my Ankara and replaced the 13 inches back on a fold. Remember, we have 2 parts which are both on a fold, making it a total of 4 parts. Okay, so after doing that, I made sure to add an extra allowance so that the length of this dress, of the netty parts, would be enough for my client's length. Okay, remember that our total length for that net was 61.5, so it wasn't long enough for the client. So after doing my net, after cutting out my net, I went ahead to cut my skirt out, adding 1.2 inches allowance. Okay, so I just went ahead, placed the pattern on the skirt, and then cut it out. Then after that, I went ahead to cut my sleeve pattern. So this is what the sleeve pattern looks like. After cutting it, I went ahead to remove about 8 inches or 9 inches. Okay, I removed 9 inches out because I didn't want the... So I took out 9 inch all the way out, and then I did the same thing. I replaced it back. Okay, so I replaced it in my Ankara. After all that is done, everything is all cut out, my lining, I cut out my lining and everything. I'll just go ahead and sew my net. And the first thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be joining the down part, that's the Ankara part, to the lace. Now, I didn't want to line the Ankara part and turn it all the way down because it will be dragging the net. So I just went ahead and sewed it all the way down and then double bent it, and it came out really neat. So you can see what I'm doing here. I went ahead and double bent it, and it came out really neat. Okay, and then after doing that, look at this, is what it looks like. Okay, so after doing that, I would go ahead and put my bias all the way round the neck. I'll first of all sew my shoulders together. I'll first of all stitch the shoulders together on both sides. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It will really, really, really mean a lot to me. Okay, thank you. Then I went ahead to sew my bias. I first of all sewed the part where I slanted. I came down by 5 inches. Yes, I forgot to say that. So after cutting both the front and the back, I deepened the front neck of my net, and then the back neck was 3 inches by 1 inch. I came down with an opening at the back by 5 or 6 inches, depends on how deep you want it to be. So I first of all closed that opening here. So I went ahead to close the opening and then now used my bias to turn the whole neck round. But before doing that, I created a loop channel so that I can sew in a small button at the back. So I created a loop channel so I can sew in my small button so it will close up at that back. Yes, this is what it looks like. Then I went ahead to close up my neckline with the bias. I gave it a neat finish with my bias. Okay, then after this is done, I went ahead to match it all around. So this is what it looks like. Don't forget to do leave a comment in the comment section what tutorial you'd like me to post next. I know this is a tailoring season and almost everybody is busy. I will not even lie. Everybody is so busy. Like, I had to just create time to make a video and post on my channel. So whatever tutorial you think you would like me to post, don't forget to leave a comment telling me that, okay? So after I did that, I went ahead to started by joining 1 inch all the way down. I now reduced it to have 0.75 inch, and I now later reduced it to have 1 inch all the way down because I really needed it to have this A-line shape. Like, I needed it to be free and to be giving. Okay, so after that I went ahead to do the same thing to my sleeves. So the next part was the part I actually stitched first. So I went ahead to do the same thing with my sleeves. Okay, this is how I folded it. So after sewing, you give it that double bend fold and it comes out really, really neat. So now after that, I went ahead to join my bustier part. I held it by half inch on all sides and gave that under bust part a notch, and then I notched all the way up there. So this is what the next part looks like. I was done sewing it. I wore it on a mannequin so you could see. And this is what my bustier looks like. So I went ahead to sew 1 inch because I gave 1 inch allowance on my upper bodice area. So I went ahead to sew it by 1 inch, joining the back pattern to the front pattern. I did the same thing on my lining as well. I joined the back pattern to the front pattern. Now you are seeing that this bodice is looking so fine, right? So I just joined the back pattern to the front pattern. This is what it looks like. After doing that, I want it to be like inseam finishing. I just want to give it that inseam finishing. So the only joining is going to be on the waistline. So I went ahead to adjust my rope. Oh, sorry, my strap. I went ahead to adjust my strap. I said rope. Oh, local girl. So I went ahead to adjust my strap to fit the length I'll be working with. Now when I did my back bodice, I made sure that I measured my inches, the inches I took off all the way down to the chest line, and then the inches I took off too from the front line. So that was what made the total of my strap. Okay, so please remember to do that so that your strap would fit perfectly when your client wears it or when you wear it. So that was all, and this was the finished look. I went ahead to join the skirt part to the bustier part, and this is what it looks like. I know it is giving, right? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for always stopping by. I really appreciate. Bye. See you on my next video. Bye.